हरे कृष्ण।
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्या देश तारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे 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 वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। भजन केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र, केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र। करम विपाके भववन भ्रमी, पेखलु रंग बहुचित्र। करम विपाके भववन भ्रमी, पेखलु रंग बहुचित्र। केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र, केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र। हरि बोल। तुआ पद विस्मृति आमार जंत्रण, तुआ पद विस्मृति आमार जंत्रण। क्लेश दहने दोही जाई, कपिल पतंजलि गौतम कानो भजी। कपिल पतंजलि गौतम कानो भजी, जैमिनी बौद्ध आविधाई। केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र, केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र। तब कोई निज मते भुक्ति मुक्ति याचतो, तब कोई निज मते भुक्ति मुक्ति याचत। पाठहि नाना विध फांद, सो सब वंचक तुआ भक्ति बहिर्मुख। सो सब वंचक तुआ भक्ति बहिर्मुख, घाटोय विषम परमाद। केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र, केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र। वैमुख वंचने भट्ट शोषव, वैमुख वंचने भट्ट शोषव। निरमीन विभेद पशार, वैमुख वंचने भट्ट शोषव। निरमीन विभेद पशार। दंडवत दूरत भक्ति विनोद भेलो, दंडवत दूरत भक्ति विनोद भेलो। भक्त चरण गोरी सार, दंडवत दूरत भक्ति विनोद भेलो। भक्त चरण ओरि सार, केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र, केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र। करम विपाके भववन भ्रमी, करम विपाके भववन भ्रमी, पेखलु रंग बहुचित्र, केशव तुआ जगत विचित्र। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गोविंद तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी, आया है। ओ राधे श्याम तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। This aarti is sung every day to please Radha Govind, the deities of Rupa Goswami in Jaipur. Govinda तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। राधे श्याम तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। ओ मेरे हाथ में गोविंद, ओ मेरे हाथ में जल का लोटा है, मैं तुम्हें नहलाने आया हूँ। ओ मेरे हाथ में जल का लोटा है, मैं तुम्हें नहलाने आया हूँ। ओ बड़े प्रेम से, ओ बड़े प्रेम से नाओ मन मोहन में तुम्हें नहलाने आया हूँ। ओ बड़े प्रेम से नाओ मन मोहन मैं तुम्हें नहलाने आया हूँ। श्री गोविंद तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। राधे श्याम तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। मेरे हाथ में गोविंद, मेरे हाथ में रेशम वस्त्र है, मैं तुम्हें पहनाने आया हूँ। ओ मेरे हाथ में रेशम वस्त्र है, मैं तुम्हें पहनाने आया हूँ। ओ बड़े प्रेम से, बड़े प्रेम से पहनो मन मोहन में तुम्हें पहनाने आया हूँ। ओ बड़े प्रेम से पहनो मन मोहन में तुम्हें पहनाने आया हूँ। श्री गोविंद तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। राधे श्याम तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। ओ मेरे हाथ में गोविंद, गोविंद, ओ मेरे हाथ में केसर चंदन है, मैं तिलक लगाने आया हूँ। ओ मेरे हाथ में केसर चंदन है, मैं तिलक लगाने आया हूँ। ओ बड़े प्रेम से, बड़े प्रेम से तिलक लगाने दो, मैं तिलक तिलक लगा आया, बड़े प्रेम से तिलक लगाने दो, मैं तिलक लगा आया। श्री गोविंद तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। राधे श्याम तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। तो मेरे हाथ में गोविंद, गोविंद मेरे हाथ में माखन मिश्री है, मैं तुम्हें जिमाने आया हूँ। वो मेरे हाथ में गोविंद, मेरे हाथ में माखन मिश्री है, मैं तुम्हें जिमाने आया हूँ। ओ बड़े प्रेम से, बड़े प्रेम से जीवो मन मोहन, मैं तुम्हें जिमाने आया। बड़े प्रेम से जीवो मन मोहन, मैं तुम्हें जिमाने आया। श्री गोविंद तुम्हारे चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। ओ राधे श्याम, राधे श्याम, ओ राधे श्याम
अच्छो हुई कि यहाँ
चरणों में एक प्रेम पुजारी आया है। राधे 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 गोविंद राधे, राधे 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 गोविंद राधे, गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे, गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे, गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे। गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे, गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे, राधे 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 गोविंद राधे, राधे 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 गोविंद राधे, गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे, गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे। हे गोविंद, हे गोपाल, बोलो राधे गोविंदा, हे राधे गोविंदा, राधे राधे जय जय श्री राधे। बोलो राधे 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 जय जय श्री राधे राधे। जयताम सुरतोपंगो मम मंदमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पादाम भोजो राधा मदन मोहन। जयो राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे राधे। दिव्य वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमा श्रीमत रत्नांगद सिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीला राधा गोविंद देवो प्रेष्ठाली भी सेव्य मानव स्मरामि। जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे राधे। श्रीमान रास रसारंभी वंशीवत स्थितः कर्षणैर्वेणो स्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथाय श्रेयस्तु नः। जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे राधे। जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय जय श्री राधे। जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय जय श्री राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम। जय ललिता विशाखा राधे श्याम। जय ललिता विशाखा राधे श्याम। जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि। जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि। जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि। जय प्रभु पद, जय प्रभु पद, जय प्रभु पद, श्रील प्रभु पद। प्रभुपाद, 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 प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। गुरुदेव, 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 गुरुदेव। जय जय गुरुदेव, जय जय गुरुदेव। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। आराध्य भगवान ब्रजेश तनयस तद्धाम वृंदावनम। रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधूवर्गेण तया कल्पिता। श्रीमद् भागवत पुराणमयम् प्रेम पुमार्थो महान्। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभोर्मतैलं नायत्रयाग्रहं। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। श्री अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं। देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयोदीरये। शृण्वन्ता स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तनम्। हृदयन्तस्त भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सता। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। निगम कल्पतरो गलितं फलम् सुखमुखाद्रवमृतं संयुतं। पिबत भागवत रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिक भुवि भावुका। नीरदनिन्दितं कान्तिधरं रसोसागर नागरभूपवरं शुभवङ्किमचारु शिखण्डशिखिं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रजराजसुतम् राधिका सरोदयिन्दु निन्दिमुखमण्डली वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्मा वृषभानुनन्दिनी वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्मा वृषभानुनन्दिनी कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाज मां कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपा कटाक्ष भाज मां। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। भागवत ग्रंथ की जय। भागवत जन की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। वंचाकल्पतरोभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। वियोगिनी राधा क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। समावेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। So Hare Krishna. Today, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So today we are assembled again to serve Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam. Today is Sunday, February the 14th, and we are serving Srimad Bhagavatam by trying to understand the first canto, first chapter, verse number 3. Nigama kalpa taro galitam phalam shukha mukhat amruta drava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So today we are in our third session or the third week on this third verse. So may Srila Prabhupada, the Gaudiya Acharyas, bless me so that whatever I speak, it is pleasing to them, it is in line with their teachings, and it is pleasing to the ears of all the devotees, listeners, and we are hoping that we will get pure bhakti. That is our only goal that we are desiring. And this week especially, actually this month is a very special month. Many wonderful Vaishnava Acharyas, Gaudiya Acharyas, their appearances and disappearances are in the month of February. Actually, maximum number of the Tirobhav and Abhirbhav Tithis of the Acharyas is the month of February. As previously announced, the different Vaishnavas whose appearances are happening in this particular week are very amazing and so wonderful that we seek their blessings for our spiritual advancement. Especially this coming Tuesday is Vasant Panchami, which is a very auspicious day itself, the first day of spring. And in Vrindavan, it is celebrated with an amazing joy, with different songs and different leelas of Thakurji with Radharani that happen in this springtime in Vasant Panchami. Um, it is also the in the footsteps of the Vrajvasis in Vrindavan, one should design and paint Krishna's body. A lot of different gopis and even Mother Yashoda paints Krishna's body very nicely on this particular day and performs arti. And it is also appropriate to offer yellow flowers. So this is because Vasant, or the yellow is the color of Vasanta. Vasant means spring. And the rag, especially the Vasant rag, is sung with different songs to please Radha Krishna. So like this, we pray that this Vasant Panchami festival brings us a lot of joy in our hearts, full of bhakti. It is also the appearance, as the announcement by Asim Prabhu was, the appearance of Pundrik Vidyanidhi. So for those who don't know who Pundrik Vidyanidhi is, just very briefly in a couple lines, he is actually in Golok Vrindavan, or in the Vrindavan Pastimes. He is the father of Radharani, King Vrishabhanu. So Pundrik Vidyanidhi is a wonderful personality, and he actually was very, very opulent, and he was a disciple of Madhavendra Puripad. Madhavendra Puripad was a very exalted devotee to whom Srinathji or Gopalji appeared near on the Govardhan hill, not too far from Govind Kund. And Madhavendra Puripad is also the guru of Ishwar Puri, and also the Param Guru, or the grand guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Ishwar Puripad initiated Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Madhavendra Puripad initiated Srila Ishwar Puripad. Not only that, Madhavendra Puripad also initiated exalted Vaishnavas like Advaita Acharya. He initiated Nityananda Prabhu. So these were great personalities and it is due to Madhavendra Puripad that the Krishna Prema of Golok was kind of manifest. He was the one, because generally prior to that, mainly it was in the Dasya Ras, which was predominant. So the rasas of Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya Ras, Madhavendra Puripad and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes his Param Gurudev in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, how exalted he was, and how he also went to collect the chandan, when Gopalji or Srinathji asked him to do so, and he went to Remuna in Orissa, and then when he was going, he stopped by at the temple of Gopinath, and then there is this wonderful pastime that Gopinath actually stole kheer for him. Madhavendra Puripad had a vow that he took, that he would never ever, ask anything. That is called ayachak vritti. Yachak means to ask, and ayachak means not to ask. So he would not even ask for any food, any water, or anything. As a matter of fact, Gopalji came to Govind Kund one day and says, "Baba, you must be hungry. Please take this milk." And he brought a nice pot of milk for Madhavendra Puripad. And Madhavendra Puripad was very amazingly surprised and pleasantly, just looking at the boy who brought the milk. And he says, "Who told you that I was hungry?" He said, "Well, we know in this village, nobody goes hungry. So I will come and collect the pot later." And then Madhavendra Puripad simply looked at the boy as he disappeared into the dust of Govardhan. And there he relished so much the milk that was provided by this boy. And then later on, he cleaned up the vessel, waiting that the boy will come back to pick it up, but the boy never came. But at that night, he came in his dreams. It was the same boy. Says, "Madhavendra Puri, Madhavendra, I have been buried in this Govardhan top for many, many years. Please take me out. Please take me out." And the next day, along with the Vrajvasis, Madhavendra Puripad went to the area in the Govardhan hill, and then lo and behold, telling the particular spot that Gopalji had come in his dream, he said that, "Please find him in this spot, and they found the beautiful deities of Srinathji. Srinathji now, he was actually originally in worship in Govardhan, in actually right on top of the Govardhan hill, not too far from Govind Kund and not too far from Jatipura. And then later on, he, with the opulent worship that was there, he also told him that I was buried for a very long time. I'm very hot. Please get me the best chandan or the sandalwood, and then, make the pulp and apply it on my body along with camphor so that I can feel that cooling effect. And Madhan Purivad was told that the best of the chandan is found in the Malay hills in Orissa. So he went on for a long journey like that, such an exalted Vaishnava. And when he stopped at Rimuna, he went forward. He had heard that the kheer is amazing at Remuna, at the Gopinath Mandir. So he thought that I should taste it, and maybe I can figure out the recipe and I can offer it to my Gopalji. And then when he was in the line, suddenly he realized that he is not supposed to ask anything. He cannot put his hand forward, even to take prasadam. So he left the line, and then at night, after the temple closed, Gopinath came to the dream of this pujari. Says, at night, before I go to, you do the shayan, before you put me to sleep, I am actually, you offer me kheer, and I have taken that kheer and put it behind me. So please find my dear devotee Madhavendra Puri. And in the middle of the night, this dream came to the pujari, and he went to the temple. He took a quick bath, opened the temple, and indeed he did find the kheer that was stolen by Gopinath for his pure devotee Madhavendra Puri. And then he immediately started looking out, asking in the middle of the night, who is Madhavendra? Who is Madhavendra in the village? And then as he walked by the tree where Madhavendra Puripad was resting, he says, I am Madhavendra Puri. And then he offered his obeisances and he cried and says, Gopinath stole this kheer for you. Because, and he came to my dreams, and Madhavendra Puripad was in ecstasy. Such are the devotees of Sri Krishna, such is Sri Krishna, that how much Madhavendra Puripad went hungry. Gopinath could not bear that. So he stole the kheer. And from that day onwards, he was known as Kheer Chor Gopinath. So this is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned this wonderful pastime through his own lotus mouth about his Param Gurudev. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi was such an exalted Vaishnava who one time Gadadhar Pandit doubted. Gadadhar Pandit is one of the Panchatattvas. He is one of the Panchatattvas. We say before chanting the Mahamantra, we call out their names. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So Gadadhar is none other than Radharani in the bhav of Satyabhama Devi. And they all came along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Golok Vrindavan. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Doya Kori Swa Parshad Siyo Dham Saha Utari Attanta Durlabha Prema Kori Baridan Sikhaye Sharanagati Bhakate Ropran. Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays in his introductory song of Sharanagati. This is the first verse, that he came along, Mahaprabhu, Krishna came in the mood of Radhaji along with his own personal associates in this material world for the sake of all the jivas, for the fallen souls. Please, O Mahaprabhu, teach me the process of Sharanagati, the process of full surrender. So Gadadhar Pandit, when he went to see with Pundarik Vidyanidhi one day, he was very opulent, very well dressed, and he was, fanning himself with a nice peacock feather, and he had a lot of servants and everything. And then Gadadhar Pandit also in this Leela doubted that what kind of a Vaishnava this person is. He's so opulent. And because of his doubt, he had committed an unknowingly a subtle offense. But this is all Leela, just to understand. And at that time, understanding the heart of Gadadhar Pandit, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, at that time, Narhari Sarkar, one of the associates of Mahaprabhu, who came from the Kaviraj family, doctors basically. He was a wonderful poet also. Not only a doctor, but Kaviraj meant also poets. So he sang one wonderful poem that actually put Pundarik Vidyanidhi into ecstasy. He rolled down from his bed and he rolled on the floor when he heard the verses that were recited by Narhari Sarkar. And at that time, just looking at the peacock feather that his servants were fanning him, he went into an ecstasy and he swooned. And at that time, Gadadhar Pandit realized that he committed a great offense. So Pundrik Vidyanidhi is none other than King Vrishabhanu. So his appearance is there. And later on, he took initiation, he took Diksha. Gadadhar Pandit actually took Diksha from Pundrik Vidyanidhi. So this is amazing. And then even Sri Vallabhacharya Pad, who later on got the seva of Srinathji. Right now, Srinathji seva that is being performed very nicely by the Pushtimargi Saivites who are in Srinathji or Nathdwara, 30 kilometers away from Udaipur. Because during the attack of the Mughals, the bigger deities of Vrindavan were moved mostly to Jaipur, because Jaipur was only one state in all over India that was very strong because of the strong Rajput kings, where the Mughals could not control them. They were so chivalrous and they were also wonderful Vaishnavas. So Govind Devji from Vrindavan went to Jaipur. I sang that song today. I was just inspired. After a very long time, I sang this arti. Thousands and thousands of people in Jaipur in the morning in Govind Devji's temple. Govind Devji was actually, he appeared to Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami, in Vrindavan, he appeared to Rupa Goswami. And due to the Mughals' atrocities, Govind Devji was first moved to Kamyavan, which is also a part of Rajmandal, that is in Rajasthan. And then further, he was moved to Kanak Vrindavan in Jaipur. And then now the Raja of Jaipur had built a wonderful temple. And there, Govind Devji, then, due to the love that was shown by the Jaipur Vasis and the devotees in Jaipur, he did not go back to Vrindavan and he stayed there. And even today, he's worshipped so opulently in Jaipur. Every morning at Shringar Aarti, the hall is so huge that at least you can accommodate 2,000-3,000 devotees easily at one time, perhaps even more. And then beyond the hall, they have the open compound. And all at once, in a big chorus, they sing this song, Shri Govinda Tumhare Charano Mein Ek Prema Pujari Aaya Hai, Radhe Shyam Tumhare Charano Mein Ek Prema Pujari Aaya Hai. And as if every devotee is performing Abhishek of Govind first, and then offering wonderful silken garments to Govind Devji, and then wonderful tilak that is made of sandalwood and kasturi and camphor, kesar tilaka that is being offered. Kesar chandana lagane aaya, tilak lagane aaya hu, bade prem se tilak lagane do, manmohan main tilak lagane aaya hu. And then later on, Govind Devji is offered hoga with makhan and misri, his favorite. So this is the bhav. This is Vraj bhav. So the Vraj bhav has actually spread into Rajasthan very nicely, even in Srinathji. Amazing. The followers of Sri Vallabhacharya Pad, they actually wanted the service of Srinathji. So they took permission. Afterwards, after Madhavendra Puri Pad, Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they were the Mahantas. And then, because of their strong desire, to serve Govind, to Gopalji, or later on known as Srinathji, the son of Sri Vallabhacharya Pad, Vittal Nathji, got special permission from Rup Goswami. And Rup Goswami, appreciating the service of the Vallabhacharya Pushtimargi devotees, handed the seva to them. And even today, wonderful, opulent service, such immaculate service that they are doing, that Srinathji is amazingly very pleased with the service of the Pushtimargis. So this is the bhav, Madhavendra Puri Pad, to whom Srinathji appeared. And that is under Madhavendra Puri's name, the place in Govardhan known as Jatipura. It is one of the highest visited places of tirthas in Govardhan. For the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there are many places of worship, or the places like Radha Kund, Krishna Kund, or Shyam Kund. But for the Vallabhi Vaishnavas, especially those Vaishnavas who are the followers of Sri Vallabhacharya Pad, Jatipura, and it is actually under the name of Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri Pad was called Jati Madhavendra. Jati means very like an Avdhuta, who never asked anything of anybody, always in ecstatic prema. It is called a Jati. It is called Avdhut. Like Nityananda Prabhu was also called Jati or Avdhut. And Jatipura meant, actually he was known as Yati, Madhvendra Yati. That is the way the Vrajvasis called him. It is also the Sanskrit, Yati. Yati means one who is completely Vairagi, one is not attached to any material things. That is called a Yati. So that Yati, and who lived around that area, was known as Yatipura. So anybody who wanted to see Madhavendra Puri Path, they would say, oh, he's by Govind Kund, by Yatipura. Yatipur, that is where his residence is. And even if you go today on Govind Kund, you will find the Bhajan Kutir, not too far from Sri Vallabhacharya Path's 7th Baitak on Govind Kund, where he is actually facing the Mukharavind and at the part of Govardhan and on the banks of Govind Kund. So, and a few, just about half a kilometer away, 1 kilometer away is his residence known as Yatipur, which later on became Jatipur, and now it is called Jatipura. Pura means a city or a place or a town. So that is why, so all the Vallabhi Vaishnavas, they go to Jatipura. Jatipura is a must for those who are followers of Sri Vallabhacharya Path, because there they also have the Mukharavind, where they offer, Mukharavind means the lotus face of Govardhan, where they offer wonderful bhog to Govardhan Nathji, to Govardhanji, different wonderful items and so many. We were fortunate about 2 years ago, before the COVID, we witnessed the wonderful Annakota. I see Shashi Mata is also here today. Shashi Mata, if you remember, we were there, me, my wife, and a few other Vrajvasis. We were there in Jatipura, and what a wonderful Annakutta festival that was. That is so memorable and pleasing that we can never forget in our lives. Such a awesome festival. The way that they offered everything. So that is Madhavendra Puri Path. These are those wonderful Vaishnavas. Pundarik Vidyanidhi Prabhu Ki Jai is the father of Radharani. So may he bless us with pure bhakti. Radharani appeared to him because of his pure bhakti. That is Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Then also, it is also the appearance of Sri Raghunandan Thakur. Raghunandan Thakur was an amazing Vaishnava. He was actually Mukunda Das, Madhav Das, and Narhari Sarkar. These were three brothers who lived in Sri Khanda in West Bengal. This is a place, and he was the son of Mukunda Das. They were all doctors. They were all Mukunda. And one time, this little boy Raghunandan, he used to follow in his footsteps of his father, sit with him in puja. He offered bhoga, and according to the instructions, he would chant the mantras, and he would assist his father every day when his mother prepared some elaborate bhog. And his deity's name was also Gopinath. Amazing. So Gopinath, one time while his father was just about to do some puja and offer bhog, at that time somebody came to the house, to Srila Mukunda Sarkar's house, and said, Kaviraj, if this person is very sick, you must come. So Kaviraj, going for the call of his duty, he immediately told his son, my dear son, you know how to offer. And Raghunandan was very small at that time, perhaps 4 or 5 years only. And he said, Beta, you offer this bhoga, you know the mantras and everything, offer it nicely. Okay, I have to go for the call of my duty. I am a doctor and somebody is very sick. So he left the house. And then, Gopinath was offered this wonderful plate of bhoga, and so nicely, he perfectly chanted all the mantras, this 5-year-old boy, Raghunandan. And then Gopinath simply was there, Raghunandan was there, and the bhoga plate was there. So this is how it, and Raghunandan kept on telling Gopinath, please eat, and then Gopinath did not do anything. And he said, Gopinath, please eat. And Gopinath did not bat an eyelid. So at that time, Raghunandan started crying. He's saying that my father gave me a good responsibility for the first time. And if you don't eat, he's going to think that I did not do a good job, or I did not do my job. I did not offer you anything with love. So please eat. So this is a nice pastime, but just to make it quick and sweet, then Gopinath, out of pure, out of the love that Raghunandan, that young boy, had in his heart, And that is what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, tu patram pushpam tolam mein jo me bhaktya prayachati. One who offers it me with deep love, I will accept it. But sometimes there some devotees have so much love that Gopinath cannot resist. So what he did is, upon Raghunandan's pure plea, he cleaned out the entire plate. He ate everything. And then with the empty plate, Raghunandan goes to his mother into the kitchen. He says, Gopinath ate everything. And his mother, in astonishment, what? Because every day, like what we do in our houses, we offer the plate and then we bring it back and then we mix it with the rest of the prasadam, so that it becomes prasadam. So she was expecting to do the same thing. And then she thought that my boy is naughty. Perhaps he was very hungry and he ate everything instead of offering it to Gopinath. So this is what she said, you're becoming very naughty, you're lying to me. Tell me what happened. He says, no, no, Gopinath ate everything. At first he was not, but then I requested him again and again, and Gopinath ate everything. So his ma just, was in disbelief. And then she was kind of upset. When Mukunda Sarkar came back, he told Raghunandan's father that, look, our boy is getting very naughty. Not only that, he has started to lie. Why? What happened? He says, you went today to see your patient, in an emergency, and you gave him, I gave him the entire plate of bhoga, and then after a few minutes, he comes back with an empty plate saying that Gopinath ate everything. So now, Mukunda Sarkar was also kind of, perplexed, and he called Raghunandan. Raghunandan, my dear boy, come here. This is what your mother said. Is this true? He said, yes, Baba, it is true that Gopinath ate everything. How did that happen? Tell me. So he said, I said all the mantras, everything. You taught me, and he was not eating. And then, I requested him, I pleaded him, I even started crying. And then, he came and he did everything with his own hands, Baba. I saw it. So then, again, there was a huge doubt. And he says, you are lying to me. He says, no, Baba, I'm not lying. Then Mukund Sarkar says, okay, tomorrow you're going to offer bhoga again. You will be offering the bhoga again tomorrow. And then again the bhoga was prepared. And then at this time, Raghunandan went again inside with the bhoga plate. The curtains were closed. And then he started offering, ringing the bell and saying the wonderful mantras, appeasing Lord Gopinath to partake of the bhoga. So again, same story. He did not budge and he kept on. And then Raghunandan at this point started crying ecstatically, saying that, look, yesterday you gave me a hard time. You finally ate everything and the blame came on me. And now my mother and father, they both do not believe me that I offered you bhoga. And they even go far as saying, my mother says that I ate everything. Now, this is ridiculous. You're the one to blame for this, not me. So you better prove this, that, that I did not do anything wrong. And like this, out of the pure plea of the devotee, and by the way, Mukunda Sarkar was watching a little bit through open curtains what was going on. And then there was a nice big laddu that was there on the plate. At that point of time, Gopinath actually picked up the laddu only out of all the items and ate half the laddu and put it back into the plate. So this was a huge moment of bliss for Mukunda Sarkar, who was watching. And then after the offering was done, and the father actually bowed down to his son. Oh Raghunandan, how fortunate are you? How fortunate you are that Gopinath ate what you offered. Your bhakti is amazing. You are just so amazing that I'm so sorry that I doubted you. And then it is said that even that half-eaten laddu, somehow or the other, it is still there in Srikhanda. It is a place of Tirtha in West Bengal. It is there even today. So this is Raghunandan Thakur. It was his, on this Vasant Panchami day on Tuesday, it is also his appearance. It is also the appearance of Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And in the Nitya Leela of Radha Krishna is actually Tulsi Manjari, or also known as Rati Manjari. And they are very close to Radharani. Some of these Manjaris, Rupa Raghunatha Pade, Kabe Hoibe Akuti, Kabe Ami Heribo, Sri Vrindavana Bhumi. Narottam Das Thakur prays like this. So the line of Rupa Raghunath, these were the favorite of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das. Actually, when Raghunath Das Goswami used to come to Jagannath Puri to take darshan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu was so much in love with the devotion, seeing Raghunath Das Goswami. He took him by the hand and gave it to Swarup Damodar. And then actually he says, you take care of him. Swarup Damodar is none other than Lalita Sakhi. And he would say you. And later on, Raghunath was known as Swarupera Raghunath. That is how lovingly devotees called him. Because Mahaprabhu entrusted Swarup Damodar Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami under him. His Vairagya was super excellent. The austerity, amazing. His Samadhi is found in the banks of Radhakund. There's so much we can discuss about this, about Raghunath Das Goswami. He has written wonderful esoteric books like Vilap Kusum Manjali and so many other wonderful Manasiksha. These are amazing Rasik books, and many Manasikshas, especially the instructions to the mind, how one should follow devotional service in the footsteps of the Vrajvasis. Raghunath Das Goswami's austerity was so amazing that he used to chant about 18-19 hours a day, just like Haridas Thakur, over 3 lakh names a day, and he was on the banks of Radhakund. He did not even have a hut or a kutia. He used to perform so great austerities that he hardly even ate or drank anything. Only what he had is to have is one buttercup milk, chas, that he used to get once a day. He was so austere. He was the embodiment of austerity. And one time it so happened, now this is something very important. Perhaps, I can cover something of, because we are in Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group, and Bhagavad book and Bhagavad Granth are non-different. So sometimes the opportunity comes to speak about these Bhagavatas. So we will understand Bhagavad book better when we glorify these Bhagavatas. So it is very important to understand, and when the sphurti or the inspiration comes within my heart, then I kind of share these moments with the group. Although, we are actually going to be continuing in the 3rd verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. But since the inspiration has come, I just wanted to share a few words about these great Bhagavats or these great devotees. So, Raghunath Das Goswami is in the camp of Radharani. I've mentioned that many times, especially when we did the Gopi Geet during the Kartik month, and when we studied the deep Damodar Ashtakam from the Gaudiya Vaishnava perspective, we have to understand that our ultimate goal is Radha Dasya in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. That is even higher than the service of Sri Krishna by himself. And when we serve Radharani nicely, Sri Krishna is pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, Radharani is pleased. So this is a achintya bheda. It is achintya, it is unthinkable. It is like it's a reciprocal thing. It's like in Hindi, a very funny thing comes to my mind. Perhaps this will help understand this. That when Radharani is pleased, Krishna is pleased, and when Krishna is pleased, Radharani is pleased. This is a funny thing that I want to mention. It is kind of off the cuff, but perhaps it will give us an idea. In Hindi, there is this thing that I had learned in my childhood. Khadak Singh se khadakne se khadakti hai khidkiyan, khidkiyon ke khadakne se khadakta hai Khadak Singh. It is the alliteration. That's what it's called in English, when a lot of words they repeat. So there's a person by the name Khadak Singh. And Khadak Singh was a very, very angry person. And when this angry person was getting angry, the windows used to, make noise. And because the windows made noise, Khadak Singh also became more and more angry. And the windows, because of the vibration of his anger, the windows also rattled even more. So like this. So the love of Radha and Krishna is such that if Radharani is pleased, Krishna is pleased. We do not have to make a separate endeavor to please Krishna. That is the goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So being in the camp and being a very close Saivite of Rupa Goswami or Rupa Manjari, Tulsi Manjari or Rati Manjari is always looking to serve or to assist Rupa Manjari, who is very dear to Radharani. Rupa Manjari is very dear to Lalita Sakhi. So one time, every day they used to bring, some Brajvasis used to bring some chas or buttermilk. And even today, if you go to Vraj, they serve it in donas. They are made out of leaf. Even when you go to some temples, they serve the prasadam plate is made from thatch leaf. They are made from leaves. And the bowls are also made from leaves that are called donas. So that dona was made from a leaf that one day that came in Raghunath Das Goswami's hand, and he immediately looked at it. And the only meal that he had that day was that chas every day. He immediately threw that chas away. He immediately threw that buttermilk, and he chastised that person. Where did you get this from? This buttercup that you have made, this buttermilk cup, is not from Radharani's forest. It is from Chandravali's forest. I recognize these leaves. And Chandravali is a competitor of Radharani. She always keeps my Shyam Sundar away from Radharani. Go away from me. I don't want to see your face. And I don't even want your buttermilk. That is Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami's Vairagya was so great that he chanted on the banks of Radhakund in the heat. 50, 55 degrees Celsius, 60 degrees sometimes. Actually, it is said, somebody told me this, that Govardhan in summer has made it in the Guinness Book of Records as the most hottest place, one of the hottest place on earth. It is very hot. Actually, practically speaking, several years ago, my wife and I had gone to Radhakund, and at that time, they were having just, I think there was this festival of Bahula Ashtami that was coming the next day. And on Bahula Ashtami, or the appearance of Radhakund, thousands, millions of people throng Govardhan, and especially Radhakund, just to have a dip. And many people, they get injured or sometimes even get killed. So the government decided that on that day, now onwards, the army was deployed, or what you call the National Guard, and they had shut down Radhakund completely. No entries. Even Raghunath Das Goswami's, his samadhi, actually just a couple steps away from Radhakund. There's a door that takes you straight away. Everything was sealed, locked. Everything was locked. And then, I was kind of personally disappointed that I could not even take a few sprinkles of Radhakund. And my wife had actually, made it there also in the heat. So I said, somehow or the other, we should find a place. So one Baba, who was actually staying at Radhakund just by Raghunath Das Goswami, he said, you want to, offer your obeisances to Radhakund and go there? I said, yes, Baba. So come. So he took me from back alleys, and then he took me to one of the kutirs where all the Babas are staying. But there was a wall. He says, now you have to jump off this wall, and then you can go. Now, I had no problem. I was all enthusiastic. So I went on the wall, I jumped down, and as soon as I touched the Radhakund banks, it was so hot. You will not believe that by the time I went down to Radhakund to take a few sprinkles, and I took it, running up, sprinkled it on my wife's head, who was on top of the parapet at that time. And then by the time I came up, I had blisters on my feet. So hot. So in such heat, Raghunath Das Goswami was chanting the holy names. And one day, from far, Sanatan Goswami was also, every day he used to do parikrama, or twice a day of Govardhan. And Govardhan parikrama, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they start their parikrama from Radhakund. And they go all around Govardhan Hill, the 21 or 23 kilometers, and they end it at Radhakund. And the other Vaishnavas, a lot of them, they start from the Mukharam or in Dan Ghati. That's the 18 kilometer or the short parikrama. But anyways, so after perhaps completing his parikrama or starting his parikrama, one day he saw that Raghunath Das Goswami is chanting the holy names on the banks of Radhakund, and behind him is actually Radharani holding her whole entire veil and shading Raghunath, so that the heat would not, hurt, the rays of the hot sun would not hurt Raghunath Das. So then later on, Sanatana Goswami being the chief, the most eldest of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, later on he said, Raghunath, such austerity is not good. I saw that Radharani herself was serving you. You did not realize that. You better build a bhajan kutir. You need to make a hut, and then you do your bhajan inside. What is the point of taking service from Radharani when we are Radha Dasyam? So this is the bhav. Can you believe that? This is Gaudiya bhav. Another time, Sanatana Goswami also saw that Raghunath Das Goswami in his ecstasy was chanting on the banks of Radhakund, and then not a couple feet away, there was a tiger drinking water. At that time, it was all forest and they were all wild animals freely moving around in Vrindavan. And at that time, Sanatana Goswami Pad saw that Krishna himself was standing behind him with a sword, just in case if the tiger decided, to attack him. So then Sanatana Goswami said, enough is enough. First he saw this pastime about Krishna protecting him behind with the sword, and then when he saw Radharani in the second pastime where she was actually holding her veil and she was taking all the heat of the sun, in that heat, then she said, that is it. You are going to build a bhajan kutir because our job is to serve, not to get served. So this is the bhav of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. How many people in the school of theism understand this bhav? That is why I say, my dear devotees, try to understand the bhav of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There are many Vaishnavas, they're all wonderful, but they're all special in their own ways. And Gaudiya Vaishnavas are special in their bhakti, especially the bhakti of Radha Dasyam, or to please Radharani. So that was Raghunath Das Goswami, and there's so much more, but I can only, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased with Raghunath Das Goswami that, he gave Raghunath Das Goswami a Gunja Mala, and he gave Raghunath Das Goswami a small Govardhan Shila with his thumbprint on it. Yes, and even today we find this thumbprint. There are two places, one in the Radha Gokulananda temple and one in the Bhagwat Nivas, in the Radha Giri Indra Bihari Mandir. So we have had the darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's thumbprint on that Shila that was gifted to Raghunath Das Goswami by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And also, it is on that day is the disappearance of Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad. Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad was a very, very amazing personality. He himself, he appeared, about 50 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually 50 years after, I take that back, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Devgram in West Bengal, and he took initiation from a personality from Radha Raman Chakravarti Thakur. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada has said that to serve the feet of Narottam Das Thakur was the only desire of Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad has also written wonderful books. Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada has taken his guidance in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam. Many places he has mentioned that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad has given this commentary on this particular verse of the Bhagavad Gita, a particular verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad says this. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad is an authority, and Srila Prabhupada, always, took pleasure in mentioning that how Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad has guided him, with his commentaries, for his elaborate commentaries of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and all the different literatures that Srila Prabhupada translated. Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad's most famous bhajan or this arti is the Mangal Arti. It is called the Samsara Davana Lida Loka Tranaya Karunya Grana Ganatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Sri Charnaravindam. Every morning it is sung in all Gaudiya Vaishnava temples, especially in ISKCON, anytime in the Mangal Arti at 4:15 or 4:30 in the morning. Every day in the temples, this is the Arti it starts with. And lately we have given a seminar on this bhajan of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on this Samsara Davana. It's lasted a good 17 weeks. And even the last 2 Sundays, we have been speaking a little bit of the Tattva on Guru Tattva, which Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad is described in this Arti of Samsara Davana. Even Rupa Goswami has appreciated. He's known as the Vag Dev. Vag Dev means Vag means speech, and Dev means the God, or the God of like a Devi Devta. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad is such a wonderful personality, and we are indebted to him for all his wonderful commentaries that have been brought to us as it is, with the realization. So many wonderful, one of the wonderful commentaries that Srila Prabhupada mentions is, Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, that Prati Janati Kaunteya Name Bhaktya Pradashyati. That part in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna tells Arjun, You please declare that my devotee will never perish. You please declare that my devotee will never perish. Uh, so somebody may ask, why Krishna is asking Arjun to say that message? So here Vishwanath Chakravarti due to, because him being a very close associate of Radharani, he is also one of the Manjaris. Him being a Manjari, he knows the bhav of why Krishna said that, because sometimes Krishna breaks his promises. प्रबल प्रेम के पाले पढ़कर प्रभु को नियम बदलते देखा, अपना मान टले टल जाए, भक्त का मान न टलते देखा. One nice poet has said, the bhav is that prabala prem ke paale padkar, due to the pristine love that Krishna has for his devotees, Prabhu ko niyama badalte dekha. The Supreme Lord has changed the rules of the game many a times. This has happened out of pure love for his devotee. Apna maan tale tal jaye par bhakt ka maan na talte dekha. Even if his own prestige is at risk, he will never ever risk the prestige of his devotee. So therefore, he says that Arjun, sometimes I say some things, but sometimes according to time, place, and circumstances, I break my promise. Like I broke my promise in the uh, in the Mahabharata, where I promised that I would never take part as a warrior. I will just be. He promised Duryodhan that I will give you my Akshauhini Sena and I will be with Arjuna. Who do you want? So he chose the Akshauhini Sena, Krishna's own, what do you call, his own army. So Krishna gave it to him. And Arjun said, I only want you, Prabhu. But then Duryodhan made this condition that, Keshav, you will not fight. Then Krishna says, okay, no problem, I will not fight. But when the time came, when Bhishma Dev, with the onslaught, when he made that promise to Duryodhan, when Duryodhan accused him of being namak haram, of taking his salt and not doing what he's supposed to do, being very lenient to the Pandavas, being lenient to Arjun, he was not a proper Kshatriya. Duryodhan said such words that were so hurtful. So Bhishma Dev, on the 10th day, I think that was the day when he said that tomorrow, either I will be there or I will be finished or Arjun will be finished. I promise you that. And Duryodhan, was very pleased to know that, because when Bhishma says something, he's known as Bhishma. Bhishma means one who has taken a great vow. Actually, his name was Devrata. He was born from Ganga Devi and from Santanu Maharaj, the king of Hastinapur. But because of his promise that he will stay to Satyavati Mata, whom Santanu Maharaj loved so much, and he wanted to get married, and finding out the reason that the father of Satyavati had asked for a promise that, if I will only give you my daughter Satyavati to you if you promise that the offspring of Satyavati will occupy this throne of Hastinapur. But he already had a son by the name Devrat or Bhishma Dev. And how could he do such injustice to him? But eventually, when Devrat found out about his father's condition, he told the Satyavati's father, no problem, my dear sir, I want to see my father happy. Please let him marry Satyavati Mata. And I promise that, I will never get married, so there will be no question of any offspring. Because the father of Satyavati said that, okay, you promised not to take the throne of Hastinapur, but what will happen if you get kids? And those kids will fight with the kids of Satyavati over the throne. So then he takes this vow that I will never ever get married. And at that time, due to that Bhishma, that Bhishma vow, that he had taken, all the demigods, the Devi Devatas showered flowers and called him Bhishma, Bhishma. Amazing. And because of that, Santanu Maharaj, having heard what his son had given such a big sacrifice, not only remained a brahmachari, and he also promised that he will protect the throne of Hastinapur, whoever is sitting on it. And that is the reason why he had to protect the throne, although miscreants like Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan were the rulers. And because he was bound to that vow that he will eternally protect as long as he is living whoever is sitting on the throne of Hastinapur. So then Santanu Maharaj, having heard of this, the uncommon and most wonderful promise that he had made, he blessed his son. My dear son, I cannot believe what you have done for me. I bless you that you will have Ichha Mrityu. You will die as per your own wish. Whenever you wish to die, you will die only at that time. And therefore, he had got this blessings from his father, Santanu Maharaj. But during the time, on the 10th day of the Mahabharata war, because he had made that promise to Duryodhan, the battle was so frightening that Arjuna's crown fell down from his head. Blood started oozing left and right. Not only that, even on Krishna's arms, his chariot was destroyed. The great Parthasarathi could not control the chariot. Krishna, as the great charioteer, the chariot that was given by Indra, by Arjun's father, that was because Arjun was born of Kunti and Indra, because Kunti had done an experiment given by Surya Dev, that if you chant this mantra, you can call any Devi Devta. And like that, she had called upon, trying to test. And then Indra and Kunti, they had union, and out of that, actually, Arjun was born. And of course, that was a secret. So, like that. So the point being that Bhishma was almost finished. And at that time, Krishna broke his promise. He went forward, charging with the chariot wheel, wanting to kill Bhishma. And that is also mentioned by the Vaishnava Acharayas in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that how, just like he charged like a lion towards an elephant, and then he describes the Bhishma Stav. And in Bhishma Stav, Bhishma Dev says that I saw you, my dear Krishna, how you charged at me. Your whole body became ashen. This is first canto, chapter number 9. When we study the wonderful passing away of Bhishma Dev, we will go into those details. But Bhishma Dev lying on the bed of arrows that Arjun had showered on him, because there was a trick that was played on Bhishma Dev by bringing Shikhandi. And then, of course, he was also tricked because Draupadi was given this blessing, Akhanda Saubhagyavati. Krishna actually tricked Bhishma Dev by sending Draupadi the early morning before the 10th day, and saying that don't say anything, remove your shoes. And Bhishma Dev will be meditating early in the morning. He will be chanting the holy names. You just go into his tent and you bow down to him. And that's all you need to do. Make sure you take your shoes out. Make sure you take your ankle belts out, because Bhishma Dev knows just by the sound who is approaching. And then when she went in, she finally, when at least Bhishma Dev, in the dark, he found that there was a lady bowing down, a married lady. So he said, Akhanda Saubhagyavati Bhava. You remain eternally, like Akhanda Saubhagyavati. How should I put that in English? That is a blessing that you will always remain married, meaning when you leave your body, actually, your husband will still be alive. That's the meaning of Akhanda Saubhagya. Akhanda means forever you remain, blessed with a husband. That is the meaning of Akhanda Saubhagya. That is the best I can explain in English. Because Saubhag means fortune, and a fortune for a woman is her husband. So if you want to go into the Sanskrit part, Akhanda means eternal, Saubhag means the fortune, and the Saubhag of a woman is the Sindhu, or the husband. As long as the husband is alive, that is the Saubhagya. So a lot of, when we go to elders, and especially a married woman bows down to the elders, that is the blessings that they give. Akhanda Saubhagyavati Bhava. So that's what Bhishma Dev had told her when she bowed down. And later on, he found out that this is Draupadi. So then he was surprised that Krishna, I know that is you. Krishna was standing outside the tent carrying Draupadi's shoes and her ankle bells. And he says, Krishna, 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 how could it be but just you? So he was pleased internally. And of course, because he had said Akhanda Saubhagyavati, how could his words fail? So like this, the entire story of Bhishma Dev's passing away and all is there in the 9th chapter. But the point being that Vaishnava Acharayas gives a wonderful commentary on the prayers when Bhishma Dev is lying in the back, and after the Kurukshetra war is over, and Bhishmadev is waiting for the sun to come into Uttarayan, into the northern hemisphere, which we call the what do you call Sankrant, Makar Sankranti. And at that time, because of his Ichha Mrityu, his desire, whenever he desired to leave his body, he could. So after 58 days after the Kurukshetra war, he was still alive because he had not desired to die. So he was waiting for the sun to come into the northern hemisphere, which is considered very auspicious. And of course, he knew that the Pandavas will come, all the great sages will come. Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, himself will come in the battlefield when he was fallen on the bed of arrows. And at that time, he says a wonderful verse. That verse is, the meaning of that verse is that Krishna, you charged at me and your whole body was covered with the ashes, like the ashen color due to the hooves of the dust that were there from the chariots and the horses. And then your crown was blown away and your uttariya, your upper garment was blown away, and you charged at me like a lion with a chariot wheel. And then I saw that you had bruises, there was some blood oozing from your shoulders and from your arms. And then Vishwanath Chakravartipad, there he comments. Just to see, I'm trying to go into a little bit of details because this is what I want to bring to life, what these Mahabhagavats are, before we actually study Bhagavad. Vishwanath Chakravartipad, Prabhupada quotes him. The Vishwanath Chakravartipad quotes, and this is a very, very amazing way he quotes it. It's just like the lover. When a lover is having union with their lover, both male and female, at that time, sometimes, the female bites the lover. There are bite marks, like what the modern Western boys and girls hickeys on their neck or on their shoulders, etc. So these bite marks are there on the body of the lover and the beloved, both of them, sometimes in their ecstasy of their exchange of love. So similarly, Vishwanath Chakravartipad writes that, this is his commentary, that this was the love of Bhishmadev for Krishna, and Krishna's love, when all those bruises that were there, just like a lover and a beloved, So only such great exalted Vaishnavas can make such comparisons, trying to understand and how Krishna actually loved those arrows that were going past his body and bruising him, as if like a lover was making love, and those bruises are out of love. So this is Vishwanath Chakravartipad. One of the other books that my dear Nanpran Prabhu just pointed out, which I forgot to mention, is Madhurya Kadambini. That is one of the wonderful, amazing books that Vishwanath Chakravartipad, Rasik Vaishnava books that he has. And then also, this Vasant Panchami is the appearance day of Sri Vishnupriya Devi. Vishnupriya Devi was one of the concerts of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu married twice. First was Lakshmi Priya, and she left her body in a very young age. She wound up her pastimes and she left. And then, due to the sheer pressure of Sachimata, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu married again to Lakshmi Priya. Actually, they were both the devotees of. She is actually in the Gaur Ganesh Dipika. She is actually Satyabhama, one of the consorts of Krishna in Dwarka, one of the chief Patranis. So Satyabhama. And she was only 14 years. At that time, they used to get married very young. And Mahaprabhu, after, getting married to her very soon, within a few days, took sannyas. So this is the Vishnu Priya Devi. That is why sometimes we sing, Vishnu Priya Prana Dhana Nadiya Bihari, Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Vishnu Priya Mata was so amazing that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, took sannyas, and she was so young, her, due to feeling the separation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu left the home. The previous night it is described that Mahaprabhu gave very special attention to her. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that sometimes when the lamp or the deep is about to extinguish, it starts burning very bright. That is the analogy Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So the previous night before Mahaprabhu was about to take sannyas and leave home, like that the analogy is. He showed some extra, very extra romantic mood to Lakshmi Priya, and he even kind of did some shringar rasa. He even decorated with his own hands Lakshmi Priya Mata, his wife, his consort. And then the next morning, the verse that was dreaded by Lakshmi Priya Mata, he was gone. Her husband, leaving her, the young child, mother Sachi was devastated that what kind of a heart Mahaprabhu had, that Chaitanya, my Nimai, why did you leave this young girl? And then it is said that there is this wonderful verse after a long time, I think, if I remember it correct. Tatta sudustatam surepsita Raja Lakshmi dharmishtaya arya vachasa yad agada haranyam maya mrigam taipsitam dhavyamana vande mahapurushyate charna arvindam. So this actually verse applies to Lord Ramachandra and also to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's amazing, this verse, uh, wherein that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Tad Agadaranyam, he went to the forest. That means he took sannyas for the well-being of everyone. And, and he left his own Takta Sudusta the Raja Lakshmi. Raj Lakshmi means Lakshmi Priya Mata. Raj Lakshmi. She is actually Satyabhama, so she is Raj Lakshmi. Takta Sudustatam Surapsita Raja Lakshmi Dharmishta Arya Vachasa. Arya Vachasa means Arya means the best of amongst all the kings. So Lord Ramachandra also actually banished Sita Mata. So this verse applies to him where there is separation between Lord Ramachandra and Sita Mata. And here also the separation was caused by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amazing verse. Like there is Ramayana and also Gaur Sundar's Leela in this particular verse. So the most dreaded thing that happened to her, and then after that, Lakshmi Priya Mata, out of separation, she cried and cried and cried, and all she would have is, she would take a few grains of rice that she had, just cleaned up, and then out of that, that was her only meal that she used to take, Lakshmi Priya Mata. In separation, she did not have a full meal, in separation of her husband Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But of course, Mahaprabhu had a bigger cause, and she knew that. This is because there is none other than the direct expansion of Srimati Radharani. Satyabhama, Radharani, they are the same in one sense, right? So the thing is that they know for a higher cause, this separation is created. For a higher cause, Krishna left Golok Vrindavan. It is not only to taste his own beauty. It is not only to glorify Radharani, but also to taste the nectar of what Radharani felt. And Radharani's nectar is pure devotion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not only wanted that, he wanted to give that also to all. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishna Prema Prakrishta Rupe Nadaine Iti Pradayate. With profusely giving it to each, and Dina Hina Jatachilo Hari Name Udharilo Tara Sakshi Jagai Madai. To all those people, including the examples of the worst scoundrels like Jagai and Madai, he gave Hariname Udharilo. That was Mahaprabhu's higher cause, which Lakshmi Priya Mata understood. So on Tuesday, it is also Lakshmi Priya Mata's appearance day. So we pray to her so that we can also be imbibed with Shuddha Bhakti. Lakshmi Priya Mata ki Jai. And also it is Saraswati Puja. And then on this Thursday is Sri Advaita Acharya's appearance. Advaita Acharya is none other than the expansion of Mahavishnu and Sadashiv. Actually, in Golok, in Vaikuntha Dham, there is the place known as the Sadashiv Kailash. There are three types of Kailashas. There are two Kailashas in this material world. One is found in the Devlok. One is found in the Himalayas, where the devotees of the present moment are able to go take darshan. And then there is one, and these two are nothing but the manifestations of the eternal Kailash that is present in the Vaikuntha Lokas. And there Sadashiv, a personality who is a combination of Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva. Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva is Sadashiv. And Advaita Acharya is an expansion of Sadashiv. And so he is actually a very, very merciful personality. Narottam Das Thakur praised in that bhajan दया करो सीतापति अद्वैता गोसाई, तव कृपा बोले पाई चैतन्य निताई. Please have mercy on me, O Advaita Gosai. Tava kripa bole pai Chaitanya Nitai. It is by your mercy we can obtain the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Actually, it is Advaita Acharya. Even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu appeared, he was very senior. He appeared and he was there in Shantipur on the banks of the Ganga. And he actually cried. He always used to worship the Shaligram Shila with Tulsi and Ganga water. And with his tears, he bathed along with the Ganga water, the Shaligram Shila with Tulsi leaves. My dear Lord, please come. Now you must come, oh Mahaprabhu, you must come. Now it is the time. A lot of Shaktas have been, and there's so much, the Vaishnava Dharma has been almost eradicated. And there are so many apasampradayas, Aul, Baul, Sankachuda, Atibari, Sahajas, Bengal, and all over, everything is being diluted. Shuddha Bhakti is not being propagated. I beg you to come. I beg you to come. I beg you to come. And he begged and begged. And therefore Krishna decided to come as Maha. So there are many different reasons why Krishna left Golok and he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's a wonderful, I think this Ashtakam was compiled by Sarvabhauma Acharya in glorifying Advaita Acharya. I see that our Rajvidya Prabhu and Subhadra Mata are also online. Maybe about 2 or 3 years ago when we were in Vrindavan Dham, Rajvidya Prabhu and myself, we went on the parikrama on Ekadashi day and we went to Advaitvat, the place of bhajan, where Advaita Acharya sat under that what tree, under that banyan tree. And there we sang this wonderful Hunkar Garjanadi Ahoratra Sadaguna Ha Krishna Radhika Nath Prarthanartha Sahaguna. I forgot the rest of it. It's not in front of me. Maybe next Sunday I will sing it. Sita Nath Advaita Chara Naravinda Bhavana Ha Krishna Radhika Nath Prarthanath Tamaya. So Sita Nath Advaita Charan. Actually, Advaita Acharya was also known as Sita Nath. His wife's name was Sita Mata. And she is the one who gave, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, when he appeared to Sachimata, he actually was born under a neem tree. So just to ward out the evil spirits out of grandmotherly love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she called him the mother, the wife of Advaita Acharya, Sita Mata, called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nimai. So everybody started calling him Nimai, so that any evil spirits that are there will not touch that little baby. So this is the Vatsalya Bhav. Just like Yashoda Mai and the gopis of Vrindavan, they used to sprinkle Panchagavya every day on Krishna's head. They used to, the cow urine, the cow dung, the cow dust, etc. They used to, cow milk, ghee, the yogurt, they used to bathe him with that so that no evil would touch baby Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So nothing evil can happen to them. But it is the bhavna, it is Krishna consciousness that we should all be concerned. That is what Srila Prabhupada said, consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So that is the bhav. So that is the bhav that Advaita Acharya, he proclaimed that, please come, please come. He cried and cried, Gangavari, Dhupalepa Kasturi, Deepa Adi, Gangavari. Some words, they're not coming to me. But Sarvabhauma Acharya wrote this by Gangavari, with that his own eyes became Ganga. He rolled down his cheeks and he offered that Abhishek to the Shaligram Shila. And like that, Dhupa Deepa Kasturi, he did Arti with Dhoop, with Deep, with offering the lamp, and pleaded, please come, please come, please come, establish pure bhakti. So it is because Yadi Gaurang na hoito tabe ki hoito kemone dharitam de radhara mahima prema rasasima jagat janatake. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not come, how would the whole world have known Radhara Mahima, the glories of Radharani, Prema Rasa Sima? There is no other prema higher than that of Sri Radha. The zenith, Rasa Sima, Jagata Janata Kir. How would the whole world know Yadi Gaurang na hoito? So we have to be thankful to acharyas like Advaita Acharya, who are principally responsible for bringing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to this, to this material realm, to this earthly planet, so that we can get pure bhakti, so that we can get devotees like Rupa Goswami, Rupanugas, we can get devotees like Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, all these wonderful personalities, they came in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Mahaprabhu, to give pure bhakti, to give actual Bhagavad. This is Bhagavad. Bhagavad padho, Bhagavad sthane. So when we get the blessings, I always, whenever the opportunity arises, I always tell myself, you know what, whether I know Shastra or not, Shastra is unlimited. I don't know everything. I've not even probably got an iota, maybe not even the nth of an infinity of the Shastras. I have not understood everything, but I've understood one thing by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and all these wonderful acharyas, that you are very, very much, you are like the Antaranga circle, you are the inner circle of Radharani, and you are the family, like a very close personalities. So if you can please, a person like me who has fallen, who is indeed very, very, a struggling soul, but if you bestow your mercy, on me, I'm sure Radha Krishna will indeed bestow your mercy. That is the bhav. That is why, we have to understand. A lot of these people, they go into Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, this granth, that granth, without even knowing the family of Radharani. Family means the servitors of Radharani, the Sakhis, the Prana Sakhis. Radharani calls these Manjaris Prana Sakhis. Prana means my life and soul. So if we know them, then Radharani will become very favorable to us. There's nothing in this whole creation that can stop our advancement. So please try to understand that we must, show our affection. Try to understand these Mahabhagavats whenever the opportunity arises. So I thought I will just dedicate today. I'm sorry if I've not gone into the third verse, but I will do that next time. Next Sunday, we will definitely go into it, and we will sing the Advaita Ashtakam next Sunday, which has got a wonderful, the translation also will be displayed. So you all will get the idea how Advaita Acharya, pleaded to Mahaprabhu. And that's why Mahaprabhu came also, along with other reasons. But Advaita Acharya was instrumental in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival in this material world. So thank you very much. All these Bhagavats ki jai. Book Bhagavat and Grantha Bhagavat are non-different. So today we discussed Bhagavat indeed. Please don't be disappointed. We discussed Bhagavat. I hope you have understood. So this is the class on Bhagavat also. They are all the bodily expansions of Radharani. All these Manjaris and all these gopis, etc. So if we eulogize them, Radharani is most pleased. Actually, more pleased than we sing prayers to her, eulogizing her, or even Sri Krishna. Because Sri Krishna is always eager to hear the glories of his devotees, pure devotees. And if Krishna is pleased, Radharani is pleased. Nothing like it. Actually, they want to hear it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished hearing from these parshals of Radharani. He is Krishna himself, but he wanted to hear Rai Ramananda, Lalita Sakhi, Vishakha Sakhi, Sarup Damodar, Lalita Sakhi, and all these, Rup Goswami, Rupa Manjari, tell me what you have written. I would like to hear it. He relished everything. Vidyapati, Chandidas, Jaydev Goswami. This is the bhav. So, thank you very much. I would now ask our Anup Prabhu to make the closing announcements, and of course, following that will be the open session for anybody who has any comments. I would like you all to say something today, whoever can, about these acharyas for your own benefit. Please do so. This is the habit that we must get into. Otherwise, everything will become on a scholarly platform. Even if we know all the verses of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, then we have not really understood Bhagavad. And this is my line of thought. This is what I was taught. This is what I found in Prabhupada's books and in the Acharya's books. And I want to present it as it is to the entire group. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and all Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. Thank you very much, Sachidanand Prabhuji. Though we plan to talk about the verse 1.1.3. We learned many things about Acharyas, and there was many very nice stories that we heard. We never knew about those. Thank you very much for all those. One of the important announcement is Thursday, February 18 is the appearance of Srila Advaita Acharya. So it is recommended that you fast till noon on Thursday.
Thank you so much, Anup Prabhu. Fasting any Krishna Tattva appearance is known as Madhav Titi. Sorry to interrupt you, just 1 minute.
Yeah.
It's known as Madhav Titi. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says Madhav Titi Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Puri. So all the Madhav, like Ekadashi is Madhav Titi, appearance of Lord Ramachandra, Ram Navami, Gaur Purnima, Krishna Janmastami, Vara Dwadashi, etc. All these are Madhav Titi. So we should, Advaita Acharya is Vishnu Tattva. So we should fast until noon. Please carry on. Thank you.
Yes. So basically, I would like to open the session for any questions or anything that you our devotees have for this evening. They can call. They can pose it directly to the Sachin Prabhuji. So I have allowed to unmute themselves. So you can unmute by yourself and ask any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Anybody has to say something? I have just one request, Asim Prabhu. I hope you can. You're there. If you can change today's, edit today's.
Yeah, I'll edit the video description.
The title. Okay, because we can use the same title for next week then.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you can just put appearances of. You have the list.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So glorifying our Gaudiya Acharyas, and then you can just simply put. Thank you. Yes, Prabhuji, Nandra, Danvat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very well explained about Acharyas, and without understanding Acharyas, we'll never get to know about Radha Krishna, because the Acharyas are the one who are teaching us how to know about Radha Krishna and to obtain their unalloyed love.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. I see you are on the train.
Yes,
On your way to Mumbai.
I'm about to reach Mathura.
You're about to reach Mathura. Please offer my obeisances to Braj Bhumi.
Yes.
When you reach there,
Yes,
remember us. Thank you.
Yes. Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Is there anybody else who would like to express their reflections or anything they would like to ask or make any comments? Subhadra Mataji, Raj Vidya Prabhu. Harir Prabhu. Ramesh bhai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Well explained about the Madhavendra Puri's Leela in Remuna.
Jai.
Yeah, that was very, very good. That's Mahaprabhu loves Kiruchara Gopinath very much.
Yes, yes. Mahaprabhu went there 2 times.
Yeah.
He visited Kirichur Gopinath.
Yeah. And Madhavendra Puri brought, I think, a Chandan
Yes.
oud with him when he came.
Actually, he had gone for that, and that's
that-
when he had stopped by in between in Remuna.
Yeah,
Because Srinathji or Gopalji had asked him to bring Chandan.
Chandan, yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Well said, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hare Prabhu. Anybody else? Mukund Prabhu. Subhadra
Very nice,
Mata.
very nice, Prabhu. Very nice explained. Thank you very much. Dandut Pranam.
Hare Krishna. So what was the conclusion of today's katha?
Today's the question answer start.
No, what is the conclusion? What આજની કથાનો નિષ્કર્ષ શું છે?
Yeah, that's the Bhim Pratijna. This is one of the.
That is true, but the entire discussion today
Entire discussion, yeah.
today was what is the main point or the highlighting? What is the main highlight? Highlight is what? That Bhagavad is devotees also. The devotee is also called Bhagavad. So Bhagavad book and Bhagavad devotee are non-different.
Yeah, both are the same.
When we hear about a Bhagavad person, it is as good as Bhagavad Granth.
Granth. Yeah. Similar to Bhagavad Granth. Devotee is similar to Bhagavad Granth. Hari Bol Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Gopal Prabhu, how are you?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु.
Hari Bol.
हरि बोल. दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Dandavat pranam to you too.
Thank you Prabhu ji for explaining our like all about Guru Parampara. And today I mean I don't know much about all these Gurujis, but you have explained so nicely, and you have connected the Nigam and like Kalpataru Nigam, like I mean connecting us, like really thank you. I mean these are the really connecting things. I never knew about it, and you are connecting us towards that. Thank you Prabhuji. And one thing I was astonished that Bhishma Pitama, even if such a pure soul, but pata nahi kya paap kiya, that they had to stand in favor of adharma and fight against Krishna as well.
No, so again, this is a very special leela. It requires a lot of maturity to understand. Bhishma Dev's leela. Actually, from the external angle, he was cursed by that Amba, who he had kidnapped for his half brother, and his half brother refused to marry her because he had taken. So Parshuram had actually told that you should marry. Now that you have kidnapped her, you have taken the hand of a woman, you must marry her. But Bhishma Pitama said that I cannot. I have taken the vow of becoming a brahmachari, but I just wanted to please my half brother, and he, and then on the, but this Amba and Ambalika said that we are already in love with the king of Shalva. We cannot marry them. So then Bhishma Pitama said, okay, go back. And then that king also did not accept them. So the thing is that they were neither here nor there. So they complained to Parshuram. And then Parshuram and Bhishma Dev had a battle also. And that battle was stopped eventually by Lord Brahma, because a big devastation could take place. And because she was not satisfied even with Parshuram, she said, I will take care. I have vowed to take, what do you call, take revenge on Bhishma. So she actually became Shikhandi in Mahabharata. And whenever, and Bhishma Pita had one of the vows that he would never ever, fight against a woman. So this was also something that was orchestrated by Krishna, but through trickery. And then when Shikhandi, otherwise if Shikhandi did not come in front of Bhishma Dev, Arjuna would have been smashed. There's no question. And then because when Shikhandi came in front of Bhishma Pitama, at that time, Bhishma Pitama could not fight. At that time, he had to stop showering the arrows. At that time, Krishna said, Arjun, you have to do it. You cannot stop. He has been showering on you. And already Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So Arjuna had already said that Nastamo Smriti Labdatvat Prasadat Maya Achyuta Gata Sandeha Stitosmi Karishye Vachanam Tavaha. I will do as you say, Krishna, by your mercy, I've understood everything. All the illusion is gone. Therefore, now I'm situated on my intellect, and I've revived my proper consciousness. So I will fight. It doesn't matter whether it is Bhishma Dev or Kripacharya or Dronacharya. So then Arjun, showered these arrows. So there is some history behind it, but sometimes what happens is that these histories are deliberately created by Krishna to set an example for the rest of the world. The rest of the world, teachings and how Bhishma Dev, how he never compromised with his promises, even when it came to me, and how he is such a great devotee, although he was in the opposite camp. So sometimes we can be in such horrible situations, but the point is that he never forgot who Krishna is. He always was a devotee of Krishna. That was the main point. So it is not the pap. There was some prarabdha, but it is considered external. These are all associates of the Supreme Lord, but they come as per like a drama. When a drama is enacted on a stage, the person can be very nice, but in the drama stage, he becomes a villain. Even on the movie screen, sometimes, when we are watching the villain act in such a horrible way, even our blood starts boiling. So that shows what a great actor this person is. But in his normal life, he's such a wonderful person, he's not a villain. So similarly, these are all some of these personalities like Bhishma Dev should never be misconstrued as papis. No. He had promised, and this is from a sattvic platform. But then at the end, bhakti superseded. Even at the end, when he says his prayers, when he's departing, Krishna himself appears in front of him. That is a huge thing. When people are leaving their bodies, how many times Krishna himself appears? So this is the quality of the relationship between the Vaishnava and Krishna. So it should not be misunderstood, or rather we should try to understand it. And we should not kind of jump to conclusions that he is a papi, or he has committed some things that are inappropriate. So this is very, very amazing concepts that are there, that only we can understand. That is why Bhagavad Suno Bhagavad Sthane. Scripture should be heard from the mouth of devotees, pure devotees. So we are hearing this through Prabhupada's books. Pure devotee, Bhagavad Suno Bhagavad Sthane. This is Mahaprabhu's instructions. So I hope you have got the proper understanding after this discussion. Gopal Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. And I think Bhishma Pitama is the second person in the Kurukshetra who has darsana the Virat Roop of Krishna.
That's an interesting thing. I did not know that, or perhaps I'll be admitting that. No, it is only Sanjay and Arjun who saw it. Sanjay was the secretary of Dhritarashtra. The first sentence that Bhagavad Gita opens is Sanjay Uvacha. Actually, Dhritarashtra is asking, tell me that what is happening on this battlefield. So Sanjay says, such and such a king is present. These are the persons who are present. Arjun is here. Krishna is here. Krishna is speaking this, Arjuna is speaking this. So the entire, and he was given that vision. I don't know about Bhishma Pitama. I'm not sure. This is something, since you have mentioned it, I will try to find out. But I know for sure that Arjun and Sanjay were given that vision. So perhaps Bhishma Pita was the third one. I'm not sure, Prabhu. But these two definitely.
I'm not sure, but I feel like I read somewhere or I heard it. But anyway, like, I mean, of course, he's the great soul. So definitely you would have, if you would have seen there is nothing
For
organizing.
all of us to know everything about all the different pastimes, it's like Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. So we, but the main thing is we should take the theme home of pure bhakti. That is the idea. I always, try to bring that point home. Please take the theme, the actual tattva, which is pure bhakti. Anybody else? Thank
Yes.
you.
Hare
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Can I ask a question, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Yeah. So this Virat Roop, actually it's a temporary form, right? Like it's only a temporary form. It's not like they are always, right? It's not a spiritual form. It's that Virat Roop is a temporary form, right?
Virat Rupa is a spiritual form. How can we say it is not spiritual? Krishna is spiritual. Everything emanating from Krishna is spiritual. It depends on what our consciousness is.
Okay.
Virat Rupa is 100% spiritual. It is the Rupa of Krishna. And anything connected to Krishna is spiritual.
Okay. All right. But
perhaps you're trying to ask is that the route that we want to meditate on, or is that what we really should be considering in our meditation? Or so for the answer to that is, I would not be interested in Virat Rupa, just like Arjun was not interested.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. And also one more question.
Of Krishna that we are interested, especially as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, right?
Yes.
And the beautiful Roop is described by Lord Brahma and so many wonderful devotees. The
Yeah.
form, Shyamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindam Aloka Chandra Lasada Vanmalya Vamshi Lasata Ratnangada Kala Vilasa Vilasam Shyamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Vaya.
Yes.
Beautiful form of Sri Krishna described by Lord Brahma, that the three-band form, Shyamam, the blackish, Tribhanga Lalitam, the three-band, very, very pleasing form of Sri Krishna. That is the form that we are interested in. There are so many forms of Krishna, but as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, this is our Aradhya Bhagwan of Vrajesha Tanayas. Our Aradhana should be the son of Nanda Maharaj, Vrajesha Tanayas. So.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And also one more question, but it's not related to today's class. Can I quickly ask? Just Prabhuji, like now we have been chanting, like each person is at different level, right? So now we have been chanting and we have purified ourselves and all. In case we have to come back again another life, they said, Prabhupada says, you will be born in a Vaishnava family where you left. But as the Kali Yuga progress, it's a little bit scary in case we have to come. So even if we have to come back in a Vaishnava family, like when we are associated with the thing, I know we will be starting where we left, but do we have to go through again this purifying? Like we forgive now, like anyone, even we know if they are wrong, like we forgive them and all. But when we come back again, when we associate with this material modes of nature and different people, do we have to, with that again, can we get contaminated, or like can it affect, or how it how it is, Prabhuji.
So I think I've understood your question, and the answer is two-part.
Uh-huh.
First, I will give you the bad news, and then I will give you the good news. The bad
Okay.
news is yes, we can get contaminated again. Yes, because we all have minute independence. And as long as we are in the material world, if we do not exercise our minute independence correctly, there is definitely a chance of fall down. Number one. Number two, the good news is Krishna also says that um, if the desire is there, you know, then, or even if the person has whatever spiritual points, to put it plainly, they have attained in the last life, they will continue in the next life from that point onwards. So supposing if somebody's purification, just to give a number to understand the point, is 30%, they will start from 31%. Somebody is at 70, they will start from 71. Somebody is at 99, they will finish the 100, and then they will eventually be on a very amazing spiritual platform eternally. They will be sadhan siddha. Siddha means they will all have already attained perfection. Now they may go back home to back to garden, and they may even come back. Even if they come back, they will always be perfected souls, and they will be assisting personalities like Srila Prabhupada for preaching purposes. Maya cannot touch them. They will do a certain service, and then they will go back. Even after they go back, they can keep coming to the material world, because that is pure devotional service for the satisfaction of Radha Krishna, to save the other souls. So, just like Prabhupada said that even the jailer is in the jail, or the, what do you call, the security guard is also in the jail. And if the prisoner is thinking that I am in the jail and he's also in the jail, both are equal, that is wrong, right? So similarly, even when there are so many sadhan siddh, or so many perfected souls, whether sadhan or nitya, Srila Prabhupada is nitya siddha, eternally perfected. He never was in Maya. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all these acharyas, the Gaudiya acharyas, they're all associates of Radharani. But they come from time to time because Radharani and Krishna, they send them for the benefit of the common souls. Those are entrapped. So as far as the common soul is concerned, you continue from wherever you left off. But if we are bent on going on the wrong path by not, because sadhana means you're always on guard. Always on guard means like driving a car. And if you're driving a car at night, then you want to make sure your headlights are on. Just to give you an example. If it starts raining, you want to make sure that your wipers are on. So you have to be on guard. You might be a very good driver, and if you're not, and if you don't be on guard, then an accident can easily happen. So as long as we have not attained, excuse me, as long as we have not attained that perfection, example would be Bharat, Bharat Raja. You know about the King Bharat, right?
Yeah.
So he was a perfected soul in the previous life. And in this life, where he was, his perfection, sort of, he was perfect in the sense that almost perfected. Let's put it that way. And then he became, a devotee. He was a devotee who was always aloof, staying in the jungle. And then he kind of, saved the little fawn, that little baby deer. And then his consciousness got reduced in Krishna consciousness. Instead of 24 hours, perhaps he was taking care of the little baby whose mother had died. And 1 hour, 2 hours a day, he was taking care. And then when Bharat Maharaj was dying, that Bharat, Jad Bharat, at that time the deer was looking at him, and the deer was crying, and Bharat Maharaj was also crying. And at the time, he left his body. So his consciousness was deer. So then he became a female deer. So through this example, we can see that the danger is always there. As long as we are in the material world, padam padam vipadam. So as long as we stay protected through satsang, through the process that has been given by Mahaprabhu, given by the sincere devotees, followers of Mahaprabhu, we can remain protected. It's like making sure that our wipers are on, our headlights are on, and we are driving slowly if it is snowing or if it is raining, and following all the rules and regulations. We may not kind of, stop in time, stop at the proper distance from the car ahead of us, so that we can brake in a fashion that there is some if there is some skidding or any kind of hydroplaning, we do not, hit the other car. We keep a safe distance. These examples I'm giving because that is what it is, that consciousness. So that consciousness should always be there. We have to be on guard. Unless and until we do not attain 100% siddhi in bhakti, we are always susceptible, even at 99%. But generally what happens, Krishna is so kind that there's a nice verse in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamiha. That anytime, what I will preserve what you have, and I will, whatever you lack, I will give. So these are all these factors also. But at the end of the day, all these things can only happen if our consciousness is Krishna consciousness to advance. We can make mistakes. You're right that we can make mistakes, but if those mistakes are not deliberate, it is not really gross sense gratification, and then thinking that like Nam Aparad number 7, that chanting the holy names of the Krishna and committing sinful activities. So that is an aparad. So one knows the formula that the holy name of Krishna can burn all sins, and then I will continuously commit sins. I will lie. I will do wrong things. I will rob. I will murder, and then I will take the holy name. So it doesn't work like that because the holy name is Krishna. We cannot fool Krishna. But by mistake, something can happen. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sa piche the duracharo. Sometimes even the Vaishnavas, they can do something that that can be derogatory in nature. They can make a mistake, but it is just for a temporary moment or a temporary time. They will be delivered. So these are all the different factors. Ultimately, it is the consciousness of the person. If you're trying to fool Krishna by saying that, I have the Maha Mantra with me, that is my best protection, so now let me do as I please, then that's not going to work. No, because that consciousness is completely polluted. But unknowingly we do something, then obviously Maha Mantra, Krishna, they will definitely protect us. Because he is in our heart. He knows what happened. So I hope this kind of encompasses the theme of your question.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yes, I understood, Prabhu. Thank you. No, because my worry is like if I don't make it, like it depends, right? This birth, it's so scary to come back again. I don't want to come back, but then if I have to come back, it's the way the world is going. It's so scary, even hard to find.
Yes, it is, and that is why we have to take our devotional life very seriously.
Yes.
That is the intelligence.
Yeah.
That is the intelligence. Because coming back again means it is not guaranteed. If our association is bad, we may get 8,400,000 species of life.
I know,
It is possible. That can happen. And that is the reason we have to be very, very careful. That is why we must cultivate Krishna consciousness. That is why Prabhupada uses these words, Krishna consciousness. Whether you're at work, whether you're at home, whatever you're doing, think of Krishna all the time. Then you're protected. Then we're completely protected.
Yes.
That protection is Sri Krishna, the holy name, the satsang, the holy sadhus, the holy scripture. That is our protection. Yeah. Our consciousness eventually is going to be purified. Cheto darpana marjanam. Mahaprabhu says that it will purify our consciousness. Cheto darpana marjanam. Marjanam means to cleanse. Bhava mahadava agni nirvapanam. It will eventually, alleviate us. It will take us. It will eradicate the forest fire of this material world. It will extinguish this forest fire of the repeated cycle of birth and death. But we have to be conscious. That is the thing.
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mata. Hare Krishna. Good question. I think something that food for thought. We have to be on our.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry, I mean again. Sorry, I have a question again.
Just ask.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Go ahead and ask.
Thank you, Prabhuji. This question can come in my mind like after this, after your all the answer. So what happened, like you explained nicely that say if someone is 15%, so next incarnation he is gonna start at 16%. So so there is no 8.4 million the cycle.
One who has started their bhakti sincerely, they are guaranteed a human birth. And they will continue from that point onwards unless they make offenses. Pap is forgiven, offenses, aparad, especially against Vaishnavas. There are different types of aparad, Nam aparad, Vaishnava aparad, Bhagvat aparad, Jeev aparad. So these offenses are aparad and pap, there is a difference. Offenses are very dangerous. And that can actually kill everything. Mahaprabhu has warned us against that. So the sins, no issues. They can, even one name of the holy name can, but if it is done with that improper consciousness, then that is an offense. When we sin deliberately, thinking that we will nullify it with the holy name, that is an offense. That is aparad. So that danger is always there unless and until we complete 100%. But Krishna's kripa is so great that he will not let us go so easily. Not so easily. Even persons like Shishupal who offended Krishna so many times, 100 times, then Krishna had to do what he had to do. So think about that. So it is not that we make one aparad and we are done and we are into the animal species or the plant species or the aquatic species of life. No, no, no. Krishna is Karuna Sindhu. But he is not a fool either. Karuna Sindhu, he is the most intelligent of all. So, we can fool ourselves, we can fool others, but we cannot fool him.
Haribol Prabhu.
One
Sorry
second,
to
Mukund Prabhu. Yeah, we can fool him once we are in that realm of Golok, where he likes to be fooled by his pure devotees. That's a different game. In the bhav of the gopis, which Krishna loves, when they fool him, and they play all kinds of tricks on him. So that is something different, which is on a very high level. Haribol. Yes, Mukund Prabhuji, go ahead.
Yes, Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes.
I mean, shortly, that's the meaning going was the new birth is depend on your pap, punya and karma.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Your new birth depend on your pap, punya and your karma.
Yes, but also your bhakti.
Yeah, bhakti is truly, but when you finish this time and again
bhakti will decide your final janma, and bhakti will decide that you one person who has done some bhakti will get human form of life.
Okay, Haribol, thank you. Haribol.
That is the beauty of bhakti.
Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol.
Haribol. Neha vikramana asti pratyavayana vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayata mahato bhayat. Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, Krishna says that anybody who has taken to this path of bhakti, the most dangerous fears will be removed. Even little bit. Swalpa. Alpa means very little.
Very little.
They can do very even little part of bhakti. And there are many other supporting shlokas in the Bhagavad and in the Shastra that support that somebody who has done even little bhakti, they are guaranteed human birth.
That's true, means you do the bhakti, you don't care about your newborn or whatever, the God giving you as per your bhakti.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Mukund Prabhu, thank you.
Haribol.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Ramesh Bhai, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
How are you?
Bhagavatam is the things that you can follow it, and you will feel like you achieve something. You told about one of the devotee who read the Bhagavad, who enjoy the Bhagavad. He himself is a Krishna. It's so many times it's true, because you can see his face, his expression, and he goes inside very deeply. And I saw so many times in a Bhagavad Katha, and that is 100% true. And once you go to for the bhakti, once you go deep and deep, you don't need whole things like you don't have to learn the Upanishad or anything. You know, Harinam, 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 Ekvam. This is your Kali Yuga, and you can just chant it, and even though in your routine life, you always kill your problem. It solve the problem itself because Harinam, 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 Ekvam.
But in order to do the Harinam, we need all this to help us. Just like, when somebody is going to appear for some great exam or some big class like PhD, there are so many things that person has to do in order to come to the final. So yes, Harinam, the Shuddha Nam will only come when we hear Hari Katha, when we do Satsang, when we do all these things, it helps. Ultimately, Harinam in Kali Yuga is the best, but the quality of Harinam we have to improve, and that improvement will come with all the help that we can get. Just like somebody who is in the hospital. So when somebody is in the hospital, then there are so many things that are required to bring that person to that healthy stage, right? We have the nurses, we have the doctors, we have the ward boy, we have somebody who is giving the sponges, somebody who is putting the phlebotomist who is taking the blood, somebody who is doing the surgery, somebody who is making preparation for the surgery before the surgeon comes in. So all these things ultimately is for the well-being of the health of that person. So similarly, for the well-being of the health of the chanting of the holy names, all this is required. It complements the quality of the chanting.
It's background to go there.
Yes, it is the background to reach the Shuddha Nam.
Shuddha
And Shuddha Nam is Krishna. We do not realize it right now. So then we are Sakshat, we are actually associating with Krishna, Radharani, and all the different Vrajvasis in the holy name.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
Yes, Hari Bol, Ramesh Bhai. Today we did not see our older brother Lakshman Bhai. His health is good.
Yeah, he's good, but he went to the other temple, had a senior program. So he told us that
there is no restriction due to COVID?
No, they have like 50 people, but he's one of the, he's managing the senior citizens.
They allow 50 people.
Yeah, they have only 50 people or 30 people capacity.
Wow. Right now in Canada, all the temples are closed.
Right, it's not too many people.
Not allowed.
Yeah, and he always be volunteer there, so he always work there.
Health is good, right? That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Pankit Prabhu, thank you so much for displaying the bhajan today. And as usual, Asim Prabhu and Anup Prabhu, thank you so much. So we will see you all again, same time next week for Srimad Bhagavatam. And Asim Prabhu, please, edit the video heading.
Yeah, I've already done that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Hari Bol. Thank you.